Well, I am based in Ghana, and it is 6:31 p.m. here in Ghana, and we having a lot of rains now in recent times. Within the last month, we had a lot of rains, and so I was going around taking some data, climate data, for my 𝗬𝗲𝗃𝗀, thesis. Some part of the country were flooded, and we share border with Burkina Faso. I hope you know that. And so every year they have a very big dam there called the 𝗪𝗿 Dam. So during this period of the season, they would have to, release some of the water so that to be able to take more, they have to release the water from the 𝗪𝗿 Dam. And so when they release the water from the 𝗪𝗿 Dam, it runs into some of the homes in Ghana here. So residents, sometimes we record deaths because of the nature of disaster that this flood comes with. So within the next few days, we would be expecting the spillage of the dam, and our prayer is that we should not record any death. Already we are having a lot of rains, and so the spillage of the dam is going to bring so much. It's going to bring so much challenge to Ghanaians here. So
well, stay safe, and we will be thinking about you. We have been through some horrible flooding on the East Coast, and in the West, where we're based, it's awful drought. So we will be thinking about you and hope that everyone stays safe.
Thank you. I think Bob has joined us.
Hi there.
Like we have Rob. Hi, Rob.
Hi, Lynn. Hi, Mohammed. How are you?
I'm doing well, Bob. I'm very well. Happy to see you. I think this is the first time I'm seeing both of you, and I'm very, very excited. Very, very excited.
Thank you for the invitation. I like your background as well. Is that the Northern Lights?
Thank you. Yeah. The first time when I saw your what you invented on the internet, I was like, wow, this is a great innovation. That was a week ago. And in fact, I love to talk about climate. I love to talk about weather, the environment, and the rest. And so traveling through some part of West Africa and East Africa, you go to communities and then you realize that people are really, really suffering because of lack of water, lack of drinkable water. And so, at the end of the day, they then become sick and they would have to be transported to the hospital. So when I saw it, I was like, this is a good intervention. This is timely. I know it was some years ago that you started, but seeing it for the first time, I was so much excited. And I said, no, I need to speak to you guys, and probably I need to learn something from you so we can also begin to talk about it in this part of the world.
Fantastic. So Mahmoud, I am going to put myself on mute and turn off my camera. Should you need anything, I will be here, but I will let you and Rob have this conversation.
A minute, please. Lynn, please, I didn't, hello?
Lynn just mentioned that she's going to go off camera.
I'll stay off camera so you can speak to Rob, but I will be here if you need anything. Okay? I'm here.
All right. So Bob, please, can you please introduce yourself? My name is Mohammed NURUDEEN, and I am from Ghana. I'm a science journalist in Ghana here. I am based in the second largest city in Ghana called Kumasi, but I am from the northern part of the country in the Upper East region, and I'm from a town called Bawku, 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗀𝗃𝗃, it shares border with Burkina and Togo. And if you know about Nkrumah, that was where Nkrumah, escaped the attempted bomb. Yes, some years ago. So that's where I'm coming from, but I work in Kumasi. Yeah.
Okay. Well, great to meet you, Mahmoud. My name is 𝗵𝗶𝗲𝘃𝗲. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at Source. So my job is to oversee our global business development, which had started when I joined the company about 5 years ago now. We were just a new technology that was demonstrated in 2 or 3 countries. And we have now done installations in more than 52 countries and have worked with a kind of very broad variety of governments, communities, homeowners, NGOs, and larger companies. And so really excited about the role that we're playing in drinking water and climate, and the ability to make a difference in places like Ghana, in broader areas in sub-Saharan Africa.
So what actually brought about this particular invention, if I'm using the right word? At what point the company realized they were supposed to come up with this particular invention?
Sure. So our founder, 𝗪𝗿𝗃𝗀𝗃, is a PhD from Arizona State University, and he's actually a material scientist. So, and he had a background working in renewable energy technologies, and had really looked at the problems in drinking water. And really the drinking water system is evolved around Roman era concepts, right? Finding clean water and building big pipelines to big cities as a way of distributing that water. And we developed a technology which is a decentralized source of drinking water. So similar to the way that renewable energy has allowed people in villages and farms and islands to access energy, and mobile telephones have been a decentralized technology for allowing people to access information and communications through cell phones. We've essentially developed a technology called Source that does that for water. So instead of moving water from one place to another, we're able to produce water where people are by using a technology that a material that absorbs water from the air and uses the energy from the sun to condense that water from the material. So by using sunlight and air, we can make water where people are, and that allows us to leapfrog the infrastructure and the limitations of the traditional methods of getting drinking water, and provides a tool for communities in the developing world and the developed world to actually to secure their own source of water, which is badly in need, for billions of people around the world.
Oh, okay. So how effective and efficient is this technology?
So it's really effective. So we've been installed in more than 22 countries, and really all we need is sunlight and air. So it is effective across a wide range of climates. Even where I am here in Arizona, it's only 5 or 10% humidity, so very, very dry, and we're still able to harness enough water from the air to produce the water that I'm drinking right now. We also produce high quality water. So the way that the process works is we essentially start with distilled water, and then we mineralize it for taste. So we give it calcium and magnesium, which improve the taste profile. So that really solves the problem of drinking water. We use other forms of water for things like irrigation and sanitation, but really allow people to provide the highest value water, and that's the water that women go walking for, the water that children miss school for, and the water that makes people sick and effectively loss of income and healthcare services. So the highest value water in the world is the water that families drink, and we're able to provide that water in the home, in the village, at the school, at the workplace. So providing a resilient, climate-proof form of water, and we think that's the highest value.
So we would like to know what exactly does this technology contain? I mean, what were the materials used to invent or manufacture this technology?
Yeah, so there's two core parts of the IP, or the kind of core technology. The first is an advanced material that we call a hygroscopic material, which we developed and is very effective at adsorbing water from the air. So it's very similar to like a sugar, where when you leave the lid off a sugar bowl, the sugar will clump up because it's passively absorbing water from the air. Yeah. Rice is another example of something that passively absorbs water. So we've got a material like that that's really effective, and it's a food safe material. And then the second part of the technology is actually a solar thermal technology. So we use the panel to create heat from the sun, or attract heat from the sun, and then create hot air. And so it's not an electrical process, it's a thermal process where we're creating hot air and then using that hot air to drive condensation. In the same way that steam in a shower will condense on a wall. It's not because the wall is cold, it's because the steam is hot. So we use that positive differential with steam, and the combination of those two things, advanced hygroscopic material with an integrated solar thermal condensation process, allows us to produce clean water almost immediately once you put one of our panels in the sun.
So how about, I mean, in a day, the quantity, I mean, the volume of water that it can produce? Do we know how much or what volume of water this technology can produce in an hour, in 2 hours, in a day, in 2 days? What is the volume?
So it's like a solar panel, it's scalable. So the more water you need, the more panels we use. And a basic household installation, like in my house here in Arizona, I've got 2 panels, and that gives me about 300 liters per month of drinking water capacity, which is the equivalent of 10 liters or a 20 pack of bottled water a day. And so that's kind of a good amount for my family of 4.
20 pack? Did you say 20 packs?
A 20 pack, exactly, like a 20 pack of bottled water a day is the equivalent.
Okay, 20 packs of a bottled water.
Exactly.
All
so
right.
Yeah, which is 10 liters. So that's about the daily use. So that's what my family of 4 uses for drinking and cooking. And then we use other water from a well or a tank or a utility supply for showers and toilets and things like that. We do also for larger communities. So with a larger array, we've got a project in Kenya, for example, at a home for women, essentially a refuge for women, or at a school for young ladies. We've got a couple of 100 people there, so we've got a larger array of like 80 panels, which is suitable to generating, several hundred liters of day for their drinking water. And then we have entire communities with an acre of land. We can produce about 2 million liters of water per year that we can then store. So really scalable towards the amount of people, and really focusing on the drinking water component. Interestingly as well, each panel has about a week's worth of storage production. So if the demand is higher on certain days, or if the production is less because the sun isn't shining on a certain day, then you've still got water there for people to drink. So it's a renewable, constantly replenishing and restoring water capacity, which is completely independent from things like rainfall or groundwater supplies. And so we see really strong resilience created in those locations, because you've got this enormous abundant reservoir of drinking water in the air, in the atmosphere, that we're able to tap into on a renewable basis.
So let's look at how this technology, I mean, do we have a portion or a chamber where this water is stored? Because what I saw was just the panels and the rest. How is this water stored for consumption?
Yeah, so at a really basic level, the water is stored inside the panel. So the 10 liters in a day that I get from my roof, I've got 60 liters of storage capacity in the panel. So about 6 days of production stored inside the panel in a reservoir. And that water is kept monitored for quality and also ozonated. So we maintain a really high level of quality in that water. For larger applications like a industrial facility or a larger village installation, we also have a separate 10,000 or 20,000 litre reservoir where people can come and dispense from. So we've done community projects here in the US where we have, a town of a couple of thousand people coming to fill up reusable containers from a 20,000 litre reservoir where they can come and refill, in a circular model, their containers for their fridges.
All right. Thank you very much. Did you say the water you are drinking is from the technology?
It is, yeah.
I would love to, anyway, but what is the cost? You've mentioned that you have a project in Kenya, and do you have the project in other African countries apart of Kenya?
We do, yeah. So, and depending on where you are, it's usually about between 5 and 10 cents per litre, which is, dramatically cheaper than bottled water or trucked water. And we are also, so we've got many installations in places like South Africa. We've worked with the South African government with schools in water-stressed areas like the Western Cape. We've worked with NGOs at historically underserved communities. So some of the townships outside of Johannesburg, a place called 𝗪𝗠𝗄, a very large school. We've worked with the 𝗬𝗵𝗲𝗄 Girls Foundation in Kenya, which has been a very high impact community of young women that have been given essentially a second chance after difficult circumstances in their life. And then just this week in East Africa, we've done our first installation in Uganda, where up near the South Sudanese border in a town called 𝗬𝗿𝗄, we're working with a school, a boarding school, which has actually run out of groundwater. So their groundwater has depleted so much that their wells are running dry for several months per year. So we've been able to provide that school with a resilient off-grid form of drinking water supply. And so they're very, very encouraged by the applications for the technology in West Africa as well, and very keen to find partners on both the government and the industry and NGO side in Ghana. Obviously, for the 10 or 20% of about 20% of the population that don't have safe drinking water, mostly in the more remote and non-urban areas. And then also working with big industry. So a lot of the agricultural and gold mining type operations who require a lot of labor forces outside of cities, and use a lot of expensive bottled water and high value water. We can work with those types of companies to reduce their costs and plastic consumption as well.
The issue of quality, and I was having a discussion with a friend about this technology, and he was worried. He was worried about quality because we know that greenhouse gases escape into the atmosphere, and some amount are likely to be mixed with the moisture in the air. So people, those that I discuss with them about this technology, are concerned about the quality, the safety of this water.
So they should be. So water is something where people all around the world are concerned about the safety and the quality of water. That's why 500 billion single-use plastic bottles are sold every year, even though it's been proven many times that the bottled water contains microplastics inside the water. We are able, because we use a two-step process, we just absorb the H2O from the water, from the atmosphere. So the way in which we produce the water is a two-step process. So our raw product is water. It's not combined with other things that are in the atmosphere. It's just water, which is a very different process than, say, direct condensation like an air conditioner, or direct water capture like rain rainwater tanks where you get a lot of other things from the atmosphere. Because we've got a material science-based approach, we just get H2O. We know that scientifically. We test that in a laboratory, and then we have hundreds of installations in high pollution places, like in Asia, in Manila, in Jakarta, in very polluted parts of places like Johannesburg. We're able to, and in Mumbai, in India, we're able to test that water frequently, and we've got very high quality water being produced. And we're also able to monitor that quality remotely. So unlike a well or unlike a water pipe, we're actually able to provide the people who drink our water with real-time insight into that quality and some of the digital benefits you're used to on a telephone or on a renewable energy system. But in water, there's not a lot of transparency about what's actually coming out of the tap or into the cup. So we're proud of the level of transparency and quality, and we incorporate rigorous testing and compliance in all of the projects we do.
So it means that there is no any question about the quality and safety.
There's no question about the quality. We think people should be concerned, and people around the world, water is very important because water makes people sick, right? Water causes people to pay a lot of money and make a big environmental impact buying bottled water. Right, water is so important to people that women will spend hours a day walking to fetch water. It's really critical that people get clean water. We just try to do it in a cheaper way, and we use technology to make that clean water more reliably where people live. So water is important, and people should ask questions. But we really look at that. And the thing that we like about it is that with the solution we have, the same water that I drink in my house is the same water that the students are drinking on the border of South Sudan and Uganda. It's the same water that they're drinking at a 5-star hotel in New Delhi. And it's exactly the same water that they're also drinking in tiny little rural villages in India where there's no income at all, right? So the great kind of equalizer is that we're all humans, and humans need to drink clean drinking water, and we're using technology to enable that. In the same way that all those people using mobile phones in all those places are still accessing the same Facebook and the same Google, right? They're still participating equally. And unfortunately in water, it's not equal, right? People in the developing world have many more challenges. Women have many more challenges than men. People in rural areas have many more challenges than people in cities. And so we're trying to use technology to better serve outcomes in those places.
Let's talk about the cost and accessibility.
Yep. So
how much does it cost to get?
As I said, sorry, go on. Can you repeat that? You just cut out for a second.
The cost and accessibility, how much does it cost for one to get this technology? Assuming I want it for my home.
Yep. So we primarily work with governments and corporations and sell water on a per litre basis. And so the delivered cost for water is anywhere between 5 and 10 cents per litre. And we have there's no infrastructure, there's no pipelines required. And so anywhere that currently doesn't have clean drinking water at a tap, we can provide clean water, at their household for a couple of litres per person per day. For a very nominal amount of money, like we're talking, $10 or $20 per person per year. And so it depends on the size and location of the project, but it's typically between 5 and 10 cents per litre.
Per litre. That means they're not going to pay for the installation and other stuff.
No, that's included. So we pay for said differently, we sell milk, not cows, right? So people don't have to buy the machine. We provide the solution where we pay for the equipment, the installation, the operation, and then the customers pay just for the water that they drink. And so that's where we're working with governments. We're working with companies who already order bottled water. We can replace that with a water system on site that's providing clean drinking water. For communities where people are walking to water, we can save all that time and money that goes to purchasing and walking, and we can provide that water within at the household or the village level. And that's really what we're doing, trying to build relationships with people in the ministries of education, the ministries of water, the ministries of economic development, and trying to use this as a development tool so that the people living in those communities can spend less time and money worrying about water and more time and money, learning and parenting and working and creating opportunities for themselves.
All right. So, well, how about, in Ghana, do you have a project in Ghana?
We have not, but we're very interested to. So we've had a couple of initial discussions and very much currently looking for partners on both the government and the private sector side to do more projects in Ghana. As I mentioned, Ghana would be a great opportunity for us, given the number of challenges there with the drinking water in the remote parts of the country, in particular. So we would love to do that. Maybe even something in Boku, in your hometown. Yeah.
That would be, very much. We very much appreciative. But how do we get on board? How do you get this in Ghana? What do we need to do to get this technology in Ghana?
We want to. We're really looking for the people for introductions to the people who are trying to solve these problems. So parts of the government, parts of the non-profit sector, and companies who are looking for improved drinking water solutions in parts of the community. They can approach us, and we can either partner with them business-wise, or we can essentially invest in the water infrastructure and then allow the end users to pay for the water. And so really our website is 𝗧𝗵𝗲𝘀𝗲, and we are called 𝗧𝗵𝗲𝘀 Global, and through our website or through direct contact with you, we can map out a project and look to demonstrate the technology in Ghana.
So I think I would have to initiate something quickly about this.
Yep, that'll be great. We'd love to do it.
All right. So I would like to take you back a bit about the panels. I don't know, but if you need it in your house, how many panels do you need to install in your house to get the amount of water that you've mentioned?
So 2 panels. 2 panels is our standard residential installation. Yeah.
So how much is that panel? I know it is not being sold to people. Yep. But how much does it cost to install those panels? Yes. 2 panels.
So the panels themselves are about $2,000. So for a household, that's per panel. So for a household installation, for 2 panels, you're talking about $4,000 to $5,000 once it's fully installed. And that's essentially that's a 15-year lifetime for water production.
So how long will it take to install this technology?
Mahmoud, you and I could install 2 panels in less than 30 minutes.
30 minutes?
Less than 30 minutes, yeah. It's pretty much immediate. You don't need any electricity. You don't need any water. It's completely off-grid. If it's on the ground, often for rural settings and villages and things like that, we would put 2 panels on the ground and just plumb it straight into a tap in the kitchen. In more urban settings, we can put 2 panels on the roof. And for a corporate setting, we can do the same. So we've done big mining projects and hotel projects where we have panels next to the facilities. And we've done things in cities with office buildings and larger hotels and things like that, where we can put them on the roof. And then the people inside can have independent taps and dispensers throughout the premises. So
all right. My final question has to do with the location, the weather patterns. Is location very important in the installation of these panels? Because there are areas that you talked about sunlight, and there are areas where you hardly, get or see the sun. Even if you would see it, it take some days before you see it.
Okay.
Would that have negative impact on the ability of this technology to be able to absorb a lot of water for consumption?
Yeah, so we rely on sunlight and air to operate, and so we don't do as many installations in the extreme kind of north and south parts of the globe. So places like, you know, Iceland or Norway, where there's not a lot of sunlight in winter. We don't produce, you know, a lot of, we need sunlight to produce. Anywhere across closer to the equator, including anywhere across Ghana, as long as you've got sunlight, will produce water. And occasionally there's no sunlight because there's a big storm or there's a big cloud or something like that. And that's typically not a problem because we have about a week's worth of storage capacity in the panel. So yeah, all across, you know, the big kind of Central African, East Africa, West Africa, Southern Africa, it's very good conditions. So I'd say that the whole continent of Africa is good conditions for our technology. And the same as the majority of Asia and the North and South America. So it's really only the really extreme north and south parts of the globe that the sunlight is more challenging in winter.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for your time. I'm really much excited about this information. And I'm sure very soon you would be working with Ghanaians, to have these technologies in some communities across the country. For that, I'm very sure it will happen. Your final words?
No, look, I really appreciate you reaching out, Mahmoud. It's been great to talk to you. We're excited about the potential in Ghana. We've had the privilege of working with a lot of Ghanaians outside of Ghana and all over the world. And so I think the common theme is that both the climate, the water situation, the corporate activity, and the real track record of embracing technology and innovation make Ghana a great place for us to grow this business and help use this technology to solve problems in a cost-effective way. And so, yeah, we're very much open to partnerships. If you or anyone, listening to your show is interested, please get in touch at 𝗧𝗵𝗲𝘀𝗲, and we would love to hear more from you.
All right, thank you so much.
No problem.
Yeah, Lee, I think you're back now. So do you have anything to add?
I think Rob covered it really beautifully. And if there is anything I would add, it's the deep commitment that we have to solving water problems around the world. And that's why our founder and CEO, 𝗪𝗿𝗃 invented this technology. In fact, coming out of a visit to Africa, and I don't know where, but is very much why we all get up every day and come to work. And it's a joy to talk to people who want to know more about it and help us tell our story. And to that end, I did send you some background information. I sent you Rob's bio. I sent you our images and B-roll, so you have that. And if you need anything else, send me an email or a WhatsApp and I'll get it over to you.
Sure, I'll do that. Your message to Ghanaians? You've never been to Ghana?
Rob, have you? I haven't.
I've not. I've been, I think, to 6 different African countries, but hopefully Ghana will be my 7th.
Ghana is the best place to be. I mean, you can ask any African, they will tell you that Ghana is the best place to be.
Yeah.
All right, so Lynn, I think, I don't know, but I will send you a mail. I want to see if you have raw footages of your technology that would help me to be able to run with this story.
I already sent it to you. I sent you an email while we were talking with our raw footage, and it also includes an animation of the panel and how the panel works.
That would be great.
Which is helpful because it's technology that's very simple, but since it's new, it's hard for people to understand.
Right.
So you should have all that, but if there's anything else you need, if you have any follow-up questions, you know how to find me.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. I'll keep in touch. Mr. Bob, thank you so much.
No, thank you, Mahmoud. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Same to you.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.